Thanks to my dad's mistress, I discovered his infidelity and the impending divorce from my mom, so I went crazy and completely ruined his relationship with her. Hi Reddit, I have a juicy story for you. I say that because the drama has mostly played out already, but I feel some guilt over what I did and could use advice on how to move forward. For safety, I'll use a fake name and change some details. My family background was pretty idyllic. My parents always got along great, communicated well, raised my younger siblings and me as a team, and were excellent parents. My teenage years were rocky with my dad, but since going to college at 18, we've had a fantastic relationship. When I pictured a solid marriage, I thought of my parents, no exceptions. The other day, it all crumbled. This whole story unfolds in about an hour. I got a Facebook message request from an unknown woman. I was trying to fill a vacancy in my apartment, so I had a habit of accepting these and thought she was interested in the room. But the initial messages were weird, broken English, small talk, no mention of the apartment. Then I figured it was a scam, so of course I kept messaging her to see where it went and waste her time. She made a comment about my sister and said her boyfriend talks about me and my sister all the time. I asked who her boyfriend was. She replied, "Your dad, and he doesn't talk about me." At that point, I assumed blackmail or a scam. My dad's career landed him a high position at a major international company, so it wasn't impossible. Of course, my dad wasn't cheating on my mom. Then she sent photos, an Instagram trio, her on the beach with a man who was unmistakably my dad, hugging selfies, one of her kissing his cheek. I thought, okay, this could be real, or maybe a younger coworker who's overly affectionate and dad humored her for a selfie and the scammer found it. Around then, I started getting random, unrelated texts from dad. "How are you? How's it going?" etc. Strange timing, right? Thinking fast, I shifted approach. When she asked again if dad had mentioned his girlfriend, I quickly replied, "Yes, of course, sorry, I didn't know which one you meant." My plan, if it was a scam, admitting dad cheats on mom with multiple women would strip their leverage. If real, it'd blow up dad's affair and force a confession. The woman freaked and started frantically asking about this imaginary other woman. I answered everything, spinning a tale about a woman he'd met months earlier from a country where he often works. I made up a name, said dad had been seeing other women for years, etc. She bought it all. She wanted to talk by phone, so I agreed. That's when I realized it was real. She was hysterical, sobbing that she thought dad loved her. How could he do this, etc. I stayed calm and sympathetic, inventing that dad's been a serial womanizer for years, usually upfront with girlfriends about seeing others, and I was sorry she learned from me. This let me learn who she was and how long it had been going on. Then she asked if I'd join a three-way call with her and dad, without him knowing. I agreed instantly. In under a minute, they muted me, and I heard dad comforting the stranger I'd fully convinced was one of his many mistresses, explaining I was trying to sabotage their relationship because I just found out he was cheating on my mom, didn't know they were divorcing, and learned from a stranger. That's when I unmuted and said actually, I'd learned about the divorce from him since his insecure bitch girlfriend hadn't told me yet. He said, "Oh God," and I hung up. I immediately called Mom to find out what was happening. She said they'd been in early divorce stages for months. It was amicable, they thought it best, and planned to tell us 3 once more to find. But she'd only learned of the infidelity days before this. The next morning, after a long heated discussion with my parents, I emailed them both explaining why it hurt so much. I don't care if they divorce. I trust it'll be kind and amicable, and they're committed to that. What mattered was this crazy woman thinking it was okay to contact me, Dad interrogating me when he realized his girlfriend reached out, Dad comforting his 3-plus-month girlfriend instead of contacting me when he knew I knew, Dad having an affair and risking his wife and kids instead of waiting post-separation. Finally, I told Dad not to contact me until I'd figured out what kind of relationship I want with him now. Here's where I need advice. I feel guilty for what I did. I ruthlessly and effectively destroyed Dad's relationship with this woman, who at least seemed to genuinely love him and feel loved. Now she's convinced he was cheating on her too. Though obviously Dad's at fault for starting it secretly while still with Mom, I wonder if I destroyed something that could have been great for him. I'm also shocked I was capable and willing to manipulate people like that. I don't know what to do now. I'm utterly disgusted with Dad and lost much respect for him. I'm not the one cheated on, but I feel sidelined for his 3-month girlfriend. Damage control should have been with his child, not his lover. Still, I love Dad and built a wonderful relationship with him, especially the last 4 to 6 years. I don't want to throw it away, but I can't grasp what I want him to say or do to forgive him. I'd love opinions on my behavior or how to reconcile loving Dad with total loss of respect. User comment: I'm confused by the timeline. You said Dad's been with this new woman months. Mom said they've been planning divorce months. It seems their marriage ended. Do you know if Dad's new relationship started after they agreed to divorce? Or after it ended? Divorce is just legal dissolution. Once agreed, the relationship's over. Calling it an affair if post-marriage end seems exaggerated. Marriage and relationship timelines differ. A relationship starts way before marriage, ends way before divorce. Like saying an affair isn't one if only engaged, not married. Not elegant to start new so fast, but understandable why he didn't tell Mom, knowing it'd hurt her to see him move on quickly. In long marriage divorces, at least one, often both and amicable, decides long before filing. OP. After talking to parents individually and together, the affair started before divorce/separation talks. They haven't started legal proceedings, just talk between themselves and their pastor. Mom didn't learn of the affair until nearly 3 months in. I didn't know this when acting, but confirmed it began before marriage ended by any definition. Very close timing. User: I get both sides. He shattered your trust, kept it secret, comforted a stranger over you learning of divorce from him. You jumped into the 3-way call, then lost it. Emotions can overwhelm, especially big like infidelity/divorce, but you're 25. Silent 3-way calls are teen stuff. To fix, talk to Mom first for clarity, then Dad. Tell both they shouldn't have lied/hidden, and a stranger contacting you hurt deeply. So no surprise at your reaction. Dad could have handled better, but so could you. OP. Sure, but I took that approach to confirm, not fully sure it wasn't a scam. Revealing myself was pure emotion, not my most mature. Dad clearly knew I knew before taking his girlfriend's call. He'd been texting indirectly to gauge me. He should have ignored her and contacted me directly to explain, especially since Mom already knew, as I learned later. I've taken those steps, and I'm figuring out moving forward. I don't want to lose Dad, but struggle forgiving the betrayal and disrespect. Update 11 days later. Wanted to update since original got attention and advice helped. First, thanks to all who commented. Reassuring advice, challenging views for introspection, flattering my quick thinking. You all help me feel in control and contextualize my perspective. Thanks. Since posting, parents talk to each family member, siblings, and/uncles, grandparents, about divorce, infidelity, and what went down with Dad, the other woman, and me. Family's upset with Dad. Not that I want them hating him, but he messed up big time, and it's good no one's taking sides over acknowledging fault. Parents block the other woman everywhere, phones, social media, etc., partly to inform family in case she tried contacting. Then we learned she'd messaged my 17-year-old sister 24 hours before my original post. Sister didn't see till after it blew up. Still no contact with Dad, but talked to other relatives. Any guilt I had vanished knowing she targeted my sister first. Though I wrecked it fast and hard, I can't imagine what my poor sister would have gone through. I'm furious she thought it remotely appropriate, and furious Dad ever saw her as safe/stable to get involved with, so no guilt left. No contact with Dad till I know what I need to hear from him. Seeking therapy to unpack how my anger ties to upbringing, etc. Crazy how hard finding a therapist with 3-month wait list, but I'll get one. Thanks again for great comments. They helped validate feelings and be kinder to myself. I'm in a better place now. Love more advice, similar stories, or Q&A, user comment. Interesting how things unfolded with your sister, that anger and protectiveness. You deserve it too, buddy. Her approaching any kids, regardless of age, is repulsive. OP. Yes, really shifted my view. Glad I took time instead of confronting Dad right away. This'll be part of that talk. User comment. Dad's mistress did the same to me. This thread similar. For me, it felt like she wanted control. Tried building relationship, legitimizing in Dad's life by approaching my sisters and me. Thought she could win us over against Mom, saying how great their relationship was, how much they loved each other, so I should support. But she was nuts. Maybe just chaos loving, wanting to hurt Mom. User. She thinks exposing it lets her control narrative. Dad must play along. Maybe she doesn't see it that way, but that's her logic. My dad's semi-public figure. People impersonate him using his image. Luckily, our surname and my name are generic enough to avoid OP's confrontation, but plenty contacted Mom to reveal Dad's affair with them. They think telling her makes her leave, forcing him to them. OP's woman has similar view. Now I might seem naive dismissing them as catfishing victims, but to clarify, parents divorced nearly 20 years ago, but old articles mention Mom, so catfishes use that, and her full name's unique for social media tracking. User. Not most diplomatic, but love how OP said screw it, went all in inventing Dad as womanizer to extract info from Mistress. LOL. User. Of course his first instinct was petting Mistress's head, assuring she's the one, instead of asking why she's demaying his son. Glad he came around later, truly. Sadly, my brute brain thinks he wanted someone else as villain. User. People say cheaters cheat spouses, not kids. Infidel can be bad spouse, good parent. Some truth. Can't know others' marriages, even parents. But this shows infidelity hits whole family, even adult kids. Dad's affair got messy. Opie would have struggled with divorce anyway, but Dad's dishonesty/poor judgment caused irreparable damage to father-son bond. Opie won't respect Dad same. Sees him immature, reckless, instinct-driven. Unfortunate way to view parents. That's it for now. Subscribe for more interesting stories and updates.